Hello, my name is Rafael Seiz. I belong to the Department of Applied Linguistics at the Polytechnic University of Valencia. And in this video, we're going to see a fundamental study skill, organizing information in a lecture. These are the contents of the presentation. We'll have a look at the types of information that we can find in a typical lecture. We'll see next the diagrams to organize visually this information. And then we will match these two aspects, and we will have a look at how to organize the information visually and effectively. And we'll see some examples. The objectives are to understand the different types of information delivered during a lecture or talk, to know how to organize this information in order to take notes and to use them, and to learn how to use different types of diagram to record information in a lecture depending on the type of information. What are the types of information that we can find in a lecture or a talk? Here is a list: question and answer, problem and solution, classification and definition, advantages and disadvantages, comparison and contrast, cause and effect, very important in engineering and in science, sequence of events, also very important, and especially important in engineering and technical writing, stages of a process. Then we can also find theories or opinions that are supported by extra information. And last but not least, we have facts and figures and statistic information. Here are, on the other hand, some types of diagrams that can help you to visualize this information. The diagrams, flowcharts, headings and notes, diagrams, tables, timelines, columns and graphs. Headings and footnotes are what we call linear notes, and the rest are diagrams, in other words, what we call pattern notes. Let's start with tree diagrams. They organize information as in the branches of a tree, metaphorically. On the other hand, flowcharts organize information as a sequence of different stages, for example, of a process. And we use arrows to organize this information. There are different types. In headings and notes, which are linear notes, we organize in headings, subheadings, and sentences at different levels. In a spidergram, we organize information in what we call nodes that are connected, and all of them connected among themselves or with the central aspect of the spidergram, as we can see in this image. Tables are very important types of organizing information, and we have very many different types. We have timelines that organize information around time, and to columns that can help to organize information as well. And last, we have graphs, many different types of graphs. Here we have different examples to organize basically numerical or facts and figures or statistical information. So, depending on the type of information, it may be more suitable to use one visual method or another, as we can see on this table. For example, if we are organizing questions and answers, we may use headings and notes. For problems and solution, we have typical two-column table structure. For classification and definition, we have tree diagrams or spidergrams, both are possible. For advantages and disadvantages, we have tables of different types, or some of them are two-column tables, basically. For comparison and contrast, we have different types of tables as well. For cause and effect, the most typical way of organization is spidergrams. For sequence of events, we have flowcharts or timelines. Whereas for stages of a process, we have typically flowcharts. And when we want to explain theories or opinion plus supporting information, we have tables, 2 columns or general tables, and we can also use headings and notes. And last but not least, we have facts and figures that are could be displayed around tables or more typically around the different types of graphs. We are going to see some examples. Here, what can we find here? We have the branches of engineering, so classification. In this case, it's suitable to use tree diagrams for classifications and definitions. What is here? Here we find a spidergram. Why? Because we are displaying cause and effect information. Next, we have 2 types of displaying information visually. We have a timeline, because we have a sequence of events, the history of something, and we have a flow chart, in this case, not very elaborate one, but it's a flow chart anyway, for stages of a process, which could be more visual, but this is one example of a flow chart. What can we find here? We find a table because we are comparing and contrasting different aspects. For example, petrol versus diesel engine. So, as we can see here, depending on the type of information, we may want to use one visual method or another. So, in conclusion, it is important to identify what type of information is given in a lecture and in what format. Then we can choose different visual methods that can be used to efficiently record that information from a lecture. Depending on the type of information, different types of visual representations are suitable. And these strategies to organize information from lectures or talks can also be useful not only to prepare a presentation, but also sometimes to develop your ideas in order to prepare or to develop a written text or a text of any kind. So they are actually very useful strategies. I hope you found this video useful for your study skills, for developing your study skills. Thank you very much.